Hey, good Tuesday afternoon, everybody. BAM Weather. Meteorologist Brett Waltz here, giving you a BAM Live forecast update. Be sure to like, share this page. Go see our sponsor, Ray Skillman Auto Center on US 31 South. Ask for cold. If you're interested or in a Buick or a GMC, be sure to say that BAM sent you. And again, want to thank our sponsors for allowing us to be able to put on this show for you. So I wanted to start off the day by taking you through a sneak peek of our brand new and newly operational weather porthole. So a little play on the word portal there, but this is just something that a lot of our clients are going to be receiving. You can sign up for. There's a lot of different monthly options. We're going to show you a pricing sheet here as we work into our slideshow in a second, but wanted to start off. This is what you would see on your home page of the portal. You'd click on your location. You'd start out here with a 36-hour forecast. This is pretty much the best data that is possibly available. And the cool thing about it, this 36-hour forecast with all of these parameters, it is down to your specific location to within a mile. No other vendor, no other forecast app has this kind of accuracy down to your specific location. So it is a huge benefit, especially for those that are in the event business, golf courses, schools, things like that. If we go over, you'll also have a tab for live radar, current conditions. We'll take a look at our current conditions here first. Kirk, why don't we click on the current conditions? And then if we take a look here, you can see temperature right now. This is just at the Shelbyville Municipal Airport. This is for our headquarters here in Greenwood. 41 degrees right now. You can see dew point, all of your weather conditions. You've got your wind speed, gust, pressure, humidity, visibility, and of course wind chills and heat indices, which is very important as we work into summer. And of course, if we ever get any cooler weather this winter. So you'll also have a 9-day forecast. And I'm going to show you the Indy forecast here by the end of this live stream. But again, using that same really good blend data, it's just the best model data that is available. It is the best produced model data that has been developed in really history of all of weather modeling, and we are so happy to be able to display that for you all. So you'll also have access to all of our long range outlooks, our week 1, week 2 outlooks here. So giving you a little bit of a sneak peek on that, as well as our long range forecast videos. And you will also have access to weather maps, 7-day precip, 7-day snow, and our personalized and customized hazards map for the days 3 to 7 period. And you will also, of course, have access to our live radar depending on which selection you choose. You can see here, you may also have range rings, lightning data that we do track. You can see, obviously no lightning today, but we will be tracking lightning with the fastest lightning detection data on the market. Great use for schools, businesses, and events and things like that, golf courses. And of course, we can go out to our national view right now. Once again, deep south, seeing some pretty heavy rain. You could see all the lightning strikes. These bigger lightning strikes indicate that they've happened within the last couple of minutes. They get smaller the further away from the time that it struck, the further away that we get from that. If we zoom in here, you can see some areas in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, seeing some storms right now, a couple of lightning strikes I believe I may see in there, but regardless, you can see all the lightning strikes up here in the top right corner. This is an invaluable tool if lightning affects your bottom line for your event, for your golf course. And you know, guys, I don't want to make this whole show just about our product, because I do want to give you a forecast as well, but I'm just so excited to be able to share this for you, because I really believe we've got a product here that nobody else really on the market has, and it's so cool to be able to present that to you all here at BAM Weather. So let's go into our slideshow just real quick before we move on to the forecast. I wanted to show you it in operational value here. You can see we were tracking the Daytona 500. Thank you, Kirk. We were tracking the Daytona 500 this week. Obviously, Sunday we had that big rain out, but how about that scary wreck last night? Really happy to hear that Ryan Newman is recovering in the hospital. I know he's an Indiana guy, so our hearts pour out to them. Thoughts and prayers to the Newman family and all of NASCAR. That was a really, really scary wreck, but we were tracking the Daytona 500. You could see there wasn't any lightning in the area, but certainly saw some of that heavy rain that postponed the Sunday part of the Daytona 500. But if you're interested in any of these weather porthole subscriptions, you can contact us, info@bamwx.com. You can see all the different subscriptions that we have, from $20 a month to $75 plus a month, with all of the lightning data add on. And of course, if you have any more questions about this, we have been posting it on social media, and you can be sure to grab a screenshot of that. So let's go into our forecast. Current conditions, and this actually warmed up a little bit over the last half hour since I made this graphic, but I believe we're up to about 40 degrees now, 38 when I made this graphic at 1 p.m. Feels like 31. We're starting to get some gustier northwest winds into the forecast area as a cold front starts to push through the area. The good news with that though, take a look. Clearer skies beginning to work down south and east into the area. We're going to start to see some sunshine, even some peaks of sun starting to develop out in southwestern parts of Indiana. Once we get this cold front through, much higher pressure will work into the forecast area. We will be cooling those temperatures down though as we work into tomorrow morning. Widespread 20s across the area, maybe some lower teens across northern parts of Illinois where some snow is on the ground. You can see Rockford there getting down to about 10 degrees by tomorrow morning. So it will bring some chillier weather, but the good news is for those of us that really need that vitamin D, really going to start to get in some more sunshine over the next couple of days. Look at that big H. That big blue H is going to stick over our area the next several days, leading to more abundant sunshine. We will have some clouds here or there, but it is going to suppress all of that moisture down to the south. Maybe some snow down there in Tennessee as we work into Wednesday. Can't rule that out, but not for us here in Indiana. Here's a look at our total precipitation the next 5 days. Not really expecting anything. Going to be dry across the Ohio Valley. A very calm period after we've gotten past all this rain and some of those snow threats last week. So I wanted to show you our 9-day forecast just to give you another example of what our clients have access to. Again, this is down to the point, within a mile of the exact location of whoever signs up. And just here's a look at that 9-day forecast. You can see chillier as we work into the middle part of this week, but plenty of sunshine. As we work into the weekend, we'll start to warm things up a little bit back well above normal. But if you're a winter lover, this may be our last chance here. I don't think this is going to be a huge snow pattern or anything like that, but maybe several degrees below normal as we work into the last couple of days of February, the first couple of days of March. I do see some support for it. It's not necessarily Arctic air. You can see there's warmer than normal temperatures up here in Canada, but we're kind of cutting off the jet stream a little bit. We've got a strong subtropical jet keeping it the southeastern United States a little bit cooler than normal. Again, I don't expect it to be major Arctic air, but for those of you that are wanting a little bit of cool weather, at least before we get into spring, I do think that is on the table as we work into the latter part of the week 2 period. Again, the last couple of days of February and into early March. So not quite spring yet, but got to remember our normal temperatures by this time are warming up into probably the mid 40s by early March. And so 3 to 5 degrees below normal is not going to be really all that cold once we get into March. So that's all I have for today's forecast. I'm going to take some questions now from Periscope, Facebook, and I'm going to try to answer as many as we have. I know the weather's not super exciting over the next couple of days, but happy to answer any questions that you may have. Corey says, bam, thank you for watching, Corey. Bobby, Martinsville here. David says, Hope, Indiana, tuning in. Thank you, David and Bobby, for tuning in. Let's see if we've got any questions popping up on Periscope or Twitter. I know it's a quiet couple of days, but again, we thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank our sponsor, Ray Skillman, GMC. Be sure to go see Colt at on US 31 South at the Ray Skillman Auto Center, and be sure to tell him that BAM sent you. So again, we really appreciate those guys sponsoring us so we can continue to do these posts for you. Rinda asks, will March be warmer? I do think that we can start to trend warmer as we work more into mid-March. Maybe some cooler weather to start March for a couple of days. Not super convinced that that's going to stick around for very long. I would not call this a pattern change. I would call this a blip in the overall warmer winter that probably continues into spring. I don't think we're going to be as much above normal as we work into March as we were in February and January. All right. Chris, in Northern Ohio, do you see any snow chances in early March? I wouldn't be shocked. Especially if you're up by the lake, maybe some lake effect. I don't even think the lake is still frozen at this point, so can't rule that out up there. But Northern Ohio, wouldn't be shocked up there. I think that if you're Indy, I-70 and point south, it's going to be much more difficult. Corey asks, will these updates have a schedule in the future? That can be something that we can try to look into. We usually try to do it around the same time every day, sometime between 1 and 3 p.m. So I'd always be sure to look into that. But we can look into maybe doing a schedule and seeing what would be most beneficial to everyone. Dustin says, pattern looks drier in the late February timeframe as well. Yes, I do think that it's probably a drier pattern. So if you take a look here, really what we want to see when we want a lot of moisture, or not want a lot of moisture like we've had, is getting this big ridge of high pressure over the western United States with warmer temperatures, and then this trough in the east. This may favor some east coast storms, wouldn't rule that out, but generally speaking, if we want a very wet pattern here in Indiana or in the Ohio Valley, we want this cold to be further west, more into the central United States, with a little bit of warmth down here in the southeast. That leads to that strong thermal gradient in temperatures and leads to wetter than normal conditions here across the southeast in the Ohio Valley. So this definitely does not look like that kind of pattern. I still think that we've got an active subtropical jet, so there can be storms at times, especially in this area across the southeastern United States up towards the Ohio River. Won't be completely dry. We'll get some of that moisture up into Indy as well, but I don't necessarily think that it's going to be a deluge like it was for a time in January and early February. Greg says, thanks, Brett. You guys give us great insights on what to expect. No problem, Greg. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Ray Skillman Auto Center on US 31 South. They're the ones that make this happen. Barbara says, we want spring. Me too. I'm ready to get out my golf clubs. It's just not quite warm enough for me yet. It's getting there, though. I think it won't be too much longer. Okay. David says, keep up the good work, everyone. Yep, David, thank you for tuning in. Carol is watching. Thanks, Carol, for tuning in. Thank you all again for tuning in. Any questions on Periscope or YouTube or anything? All right. All right, guys, I think that's all we have for today. Again, be sure to go follow our Instagram page at BAMWX.com. Y'all helped us get over that 10,000 mark so we can put some links to some cool stuff that we're doing in our Instagram story. So want to be sure to extend a thank you for that. But be sure to keep tuning in. Like us on Instagram. Go check out Ray Skillman, GMC, and Buick on US 31 South. And hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday.